And we are live back in the studio. Oh my gosh, is the pandemic over? No, it's not. It's not just yet, and that's what we're going to talk about today, the pandemic's effect on real estate. Very special guest in the studio today. Make it rain. Lorraine Tapia is here. How are you doing?
Hi, I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, it's great to have you here today. So we're going to talk about, a lot of people have sort of been, I guess, befuddled by what's taken place in the real estate market. I know a lot of people, and I did some segments right in March when this first happened with people who are smart people, and they thought for sure that, the real estate market's got to crash, jobs are going to be lost, this leads to foreclosures, this leads to another crash in real estate. The exact opposite has taken place.
It really has.
And that's what we want to discuss today. How could that be? For people who just can't wrap their heads around it, they just don't understand, they just don't get it. And to just say record low interest rates, it isn't enough for them to really believe and buy into it. Let's discuss this. I would love to get, first of all, your thoughts, Lorraine, on, why do you believe that the real estate market is on such fire right now?
Well, gosh, it's a great question. I think it's like the number one question and what's on most people's minds right now, like you described. But right now, one thing is certain, and that is the housing market. The buyers are buying.
True.
This is the most certain thing that's happening in 2020, and it's truly a blessing. But a lot of people have the buyer demand, they've jumped on board because of the record-breaking interest rates. And it's combined with, here in San Diego County specifically, there's just not enough houses on the market. And so because of these, economics 101, the supply and demand, what happens? The inflation, we're seeing higher prices of homes, of course, but, it's not a bad time to buy. It really, and a lot of people know it, and we're seeing it, we're feeling it.
Well, the Building Industry Association, what's up, Robert? We are live right now on Facebook, so if you want to drop a comment, if you want to say hi, if you want to ask a question, feel free to go ahead and do that. The Building Industry Association has been warning us about this. They've been telling us, listen, we're not building enough homes. We can't.
Right.
It's not possible based on the regulations, the amount of land there is. We're not building as many homes as there are people coming to San Diego, so we're going to have a problem. Now, they've been saying this for like a long time, like 10 years they've been saying this, since the building really stopped before the crash. And so I think we're starting to see that's one piece. One piece of that puzzle is we don't have enough inventory coming on the market from the new construction sites. So we're almost an entirely resale market.
Right.
Which is nutty. If you look in other areas of the country, go to the Midwest, go to the East Coast, so many other places. Florida, Texas, wherever, you can buy a brand new house, in almost every area in those states.
Yeah.
Here, there is new construction going on, but a lot of the new construction is attached, right?
Yep.
So it's a lot of attached. The detached houses on half-acre lots, they're not building those anymore.
Right.
So if that's what you want, which is what everybody wants, then you're buying resale. And I think that's one of the things, one of the many things that's sort of playing into this right now.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. We know today there's 3,900 homes on the market here in San Diego County. And pre-pandemic, oh my gosh, there was 5,000 houses which is still limited inventory.
Still limited.
However, we're selling 200 homes more a week right now than pre-pandemic. At that rate, we're going to run out of houses to sell.
And that's the big fear. That's the big fear is, at what point do we ever run out of houses? Does that happen? Do people just decide to stop selling their homes?
Right.
Because where are you going to go? There's a lot of people who can take advantage of this. Okay, there really is, especially veterans, which you're a veteran, by the way, and
Yes.
I just found that out. Thank you so much for your service to this country.
Oh, thank you.
It really means a lot. It really does. And, there are a lot of veterans out there who have access to VA benefits who bought a house. Any time in the last 10 years, by the way, you're up.
Right?
So
5 years.
5 years, whatever. Any time in the last 10 years you bought, you're up. Even if you bought earlier this year,
it's true.
You're up. So they're looking at things like, doing 100% VA cash out loans to buy investment properties in other states, or to put an ADU on their property there and add multi-units and do huge value adds.
Yes.
Looking at, hey, I can move up and I can pocket my $200,000 in equity because I
In
can use my
equity.
VA benefit again and buy 100%.
That's right. And with the new regulation of entitlement for VA buyers too. Oh,
Yeah.
by the way, now it's, jumbo loans if that's something that, it's available now.
I did a $2 million 3-unit VA purchase loan in Encinitas recently for a veteran.
Oh my gosh.
He bought a
I
3-unit
love it.
property in Encinitas.
I love it.
$2 million bucks. At 2.25%, no points, no lender fees, because that's how I roll.
What?
So, yeah. So
We need to talk.
Yeah.
That's hashtag goals.
yes, no, it's crazy. I mean, we don't charge lender fees, and our rates are insanely low. But that's the line mortgage. That's our whole process. NMLS 155010. Full disclosure for my license. But that is what's possible. There's so much possible in this market.
Opportunity, possibilities, potential.
It's
I have a
everywhere.
new listing coming on board tomorrow, as a matter of fact. It's a 5-bedroom, 4-bath in Poway, in the award-winning school district of Poway.
Can't beat it.
And listing it at $929, but
Wow, under $1 million.
under $1 million. But this property, I mean, its potential. There's so much potential. The backyard is huge. There's 2 basketball courts. I mean, it's perfect for the family that wants to take advantage of the Poway School District. And hopefully the kids will be back in school.
I was going to say, that sounds like a smoking deal just off the metrics of 5'4" in Poway under $1 million with a huge yard. I mean, that's definitely good shape right there. We'll look forward to seeing that come online.
Poway is nice. It's a nice community.
It is, and one of the things also I think that people are finding out as we, have been in this pandemic mode, which this work from home mode for a long enough time now. If you were in a 2-bedroom condo where you were both going to work and now you're both working from home and the kids aren't going to school, you have a situation where you cannot escape what's going on. And
if you have pets too.
And pets.
Because I have a dog and a cat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That can be difficult as well. So now you need more space, plain and simple. And so what we're seeing, I think, here in this market in particular, there's a lot of first-time buyers who are still going out and buying attached. That's still happening for sure, and there's a lot of new construction in that space, and it's all good. There's nothing wrong with it. But a lot of what's happening, in my opinion, is you're seeing people wanting to move up right now because they want the compound.
And as they should. I mean, if you can capitalize, if you can sell now for top dollar, and move up, absolutely. Why would you not? I mean, take advantage of these low rates. Low rates equal more house.
Low rates right now, and here's a nugget. So VA and FHA right now, and I can just speak for Align Mortgage. I don't know what's going on with other banks, but VA and FHA, the rates are so low. But here's the big difference. The first time we really saw low rates back in March, it was still very credit score sensitive. Now I'm seeing people get
credit score.
Yeah, I'm seeing people with much lower credit scores also being able to get these rates. For example, our minimum for VA is 600. I have a borrower who has exactly a 600 minimum, exactly 600 middle score. 2.5% is his rate with no points and no fees. So it's not just for people with perfect credit now. And that's FHA as well.
I'm tuning in.
It's crazy. FHA, same thing. 2.375 is the main rate. I mean, even for people who are in the 600 to 639 credit score bracket, if you're in that, below 510, 400 loan amount with FHA, you're also getting that. And if you're above that, it's not much higher, an eighth higher for that. Also, no lender fees and no points. So, the rates on the government side are really, really low. Here's the nugget I wanted to share. For people who are
I thought that was the nugget.
That's one of them.
But wait, there's more. Okay.
The conventional side, if you're under that 510, 400 on the conventional side, there's also a 10-1 arm, so it's fixed for 10 years. That's going down to 2.25. So a lot of the conventional buyers, especially first-time buyers, have the opportunity to get these stupid low rates as well. And you're not going to stay in your home for 10 years, most likely your first one. So you've got a really safe bet with that 10-1 arm. So we talk about opportunities and we talk about low rates. Well, let's get to some specifics. This is what's a big part of what's moving the market.
Right.
Is the opportunity to get stupid low interest rates, stupid low payments that are fixed in for long periods of time.
Right. And it would be really unfair for me to mention at this point, I mean, with that being said, that is hot. That is jump on board if you haven't already. But to be fair, as a realtor, what we're seeing because of that motivating factor. That's opportunity. We're seeing a lot of bidding wars. So,
Let's talk about that.
if this is on your plate to buy a home before the end of 2020 or even in early 2021, you got to have the cash, the capital to close. You got to have, you're competing. We're seeing, as a listing agent, I'm seeing multiple offers. Buyers are jumping on top of each other, but only one's going to get the house. And with that said, so having the ability to, be aggressive in your offer, now is not the time to ask for closing costs, I guess is where I'm going with that.
Very tough time to do that.
Yeah. You need to have 1% close.
Down payment assistance and all that stuff is challenging right now.
And you would agree about 1% of the purchase price for closing costs?
For closing costs? So the formula that I use for closing costs is every $500,000 in purchase price. This is for San Diego County, Riverside. It's a little different because taxes are higher, right? Every $500,000 in purchase price is about $7,500.
Okay.
That's about what it comes out to. Now, right at this exact moment is sort of the tax rollover moment, where taxes, like, who's supposed to pay these taxes? Is it does the current owner that pays them, or does the new buyer pay these taxes that are due?
It is October.
Yeah, we're in that moment right now where some I had a buyer just got a CD this week, yesterday I believe, or the day before, and there's $4,200 in a tax bill on there that we weren't expecting.
Yeah,
but
supplemental.
It wasn't in the contract that it was the seller's responsibility, so it is going to fall in his lap, and that's just kind of how it works. So we have to look at that very carefully, I think, in these contracts and right now if you're purchasing. But for people who are going out and starting to look right now, that's not going to be an issue for you. But if you're in contract, that's something to definitely double check. But you're 100% correct. There is a lot of movement because of the low interest rates, which is causing a frenzy. So let's talk about that, because it sounds like, hey, the real estate market's on fire. This is great. It's definitely great if you own real estate because it gives you options, right? Yeah. You have lots of options.
We love options.
Options are great. It gives people FOMO. Let me give you a prediction first, because we're going to talk about the bidding wars that are going on and how to win, and kind of what you need to look at and consider in that.
Yeah.
I think the next wave of buyers are going to be even more aggressive than what we've seen so far, and here's why.
Okay, I'll go with
You know what FOMO is?
Yeah, fear of missing out.
Okay. Fear of missing out.
I have that.
Okay.
I do.
A lot of people do, and a lot of people have that with real estate right now. But
they do.
Here's the thing that's really scary. Think about all the people who were on the fence in February, March, and the pandemic hit. If you weren't committed to buying real estate, that was a great excuse for you to exit stage left and go, wait a minute, pandemic, I'm going to sit on the side.
Right.
So there's a bunch of people who decided to go on the sidelines, and it was a very legitimate excuse to them. They weren't quite committed yet. They have missed out on a huge run-up in the last 6 months.
Oh, my gosh.
So it's not even fear of missing out. They straight up missed out.
They straight up missed out. Who wants to miss the boat or the bus?
They missed it.
Oh,
they missed it.
They missed it.
But they're getting back into the market now. They're seeing like, gosh, I should have just held my nose and just bought something in March. It didn't even matter. Pick a property. If you bought it in March, you're winning. You're up huge.
Yeah.
But if you didn't, and you sat on the sidelines, you saw property values just continue to go higher, and now you don't want them to go any higher because you're afraid that it's going to get out of your reach. And so people are going to come in, and those people, the second time around, the FOMO buyers, they are going to be super duper aggressive. That's my prediction.
And I think that's a fair prediction, and I believe that because they have to be aggressive. There's only one way to be. I mean, you can start your house hunt, fall in love with the one you want, and there's only one way to win it. Be in it to win it. Or else, what are you shopping for? This is your home. You got to go all in, and it's a good time too. It really is. I'm confident that.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. Right now, we have this is definitely what I would call a seller's market, right?
Sure.
I think it always makes sense to buy real estate. It doesn't always make sense to sell it, right? Sometimes it's a bad time to sell.
Ooh, coin that. That's absolutely correct. 2009,
not a great time to sell. Bad time to sell. Great time to buy. You can always point back, even if you bought at the very top of the market before the crash, 10 years later, you were up 7%. That's fact.
Facts.
So, if you have a 10-year time horizon, you can be okay if you buy. So you can buy, and it can work out for you regardless of what happens in the interim.
That's correct.
So selling at the right time does make sense. So for a lot of people, I know we'll miss you. all the people who want to leave California. You're afraid of the high taxes and all, so we're going to miss y'all. We really are, because, you know, we do love you. But, you know, it would be a good time if you were looking at that. And I know a lot of people have already pulled the trigger. They're already in Texas, Arizona, Nevada, you know,
Yes.
Utah. They're going to all these different places. Oregon has been a big one.
Yes, and so
Florida.
Oh, I have clients in Florida.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
A lot of people going to Florida. Listen, you can buy a brand new
I have 3.
house.
Yeah, that they fled and went to Florida.
And they probably bought a brand new
Florida.
house. Florida. They probably bought a brand new house for $240,000, you know, and a new construction, 3.2 with 2-car garage. But, you know, that's, you know, there's a reason that that's what it costs there, right? It's
Yeah.
not this. You will miss this. You will.
Yes.
But if you are ready to move on, now would be a good time, in my opinion, to go ahead and list that property and do that.
Yes, and my number will be available for those
Yes,
purposes.
and Lorraine's number is 619-806-3135. I got it right here. Got a
Yes, you
business
sure
card.
did. Yes.
Boom.
Boom. But really quick about the housing prices pre-pandemic. We were at the average household, single family here in San Diego County was at 580,000, call it February. Okay, right now, the average price is up to 630,000. And that's what, 6 months?
Yeah, it's
Six-
massive.
Oh, well, that's April to right now. So, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's huge.
Huge.
Yeah, let's call it roughly 6 months, 6 month time frame, which we normally don't even use a 6 month time frame ever to talk about the difference in real estate prices. 12 months is the minimum. We'll say year over year, or in 2020, or in 2019. We never say the first half of a year or a 6 month time frame.
Right.
The reason we have to in this particular case is because what everyone thought would kill real estate has actually made it dramatically more expensive. And why? How could that be? So we've listed a few things. Interest rates. You know, the Fed immediately got ahead of things and said, instead of, you know, in the last cycle when we saw a crash in real estate, the Fed was behind. They weren't ahead. This time they got ahead and they said, you know what? Lower the rates. We know that worked last time. We're not going to wait. Pull the trigger. So they did that. Rates down to 0. They're buying mortgage-backed securities every day by the billions. They're doing everything they can to keep interest rates low, and that's working. You know, so we see lower rates. We also seen, because the driving force for the unemployment and the things that were considered to be negative in the economy was that people needed to stay at home, your house became your prison cell. So as a result of that, you wanted to make a bigger cell for yourself
Oh
and
my
your family.
gosh.
That's what happened.
It is what happened.
People don't like to be trapped. We're Americans. We like to be free. We like to spread our wings. We like to eat out. We like to do what we want to do. Hard to do that, you know, in your house if you weren't already prepared to be locked down, and most people were not.
Right, and one of the main issues with that is just being with each other. I mean, living in maybe a smaller area, you're not able to spread the wings by having the backyard, the grill, the built-in grill, pools. Houses with pools and jacuzzis are in demand, and
Big time.
Big time. Yeah, I wish I had that paradise type backyard. I'm not going to lie, you know. But yeah, I mean,
Well, that's Riverside County now, is what's happening. A lot.
there
of
is a
people going
shift
up
over there too. Yeah, there's a lot going on right now. And what we're seeing and predicting, when we're talking about predictions, right, with the election, there were some people that were concerned and are concerned, what does that mean to the housing market here?
Yeah.
Also holidays. Well, personally and professionally, I'm predicting there's not going to be a lot of change than right now. And we know this based off of the buyer demand. I mean, why would you let up? I mean, this is going to be those that are going to let up, the other buyers that are ready to go, right? They're going to have opportunity, and the sellers that have maybe been thinking about it, we're going to go into a very strong we're in a strong fourth quarter.
Very strong.
Very strong. And the thing about, really quick, the thing about housing too is crashes and changes, dramatic changes, they just don't happen like overnight. Like, you know, maybe if things do change depending on certain outcomes, right? Next year, what does that look like? And based off of the buyer demand, we're not feeling like it's letting up.
Yeah, yeah. Just a quick recap. We are live right now on Facebook if you want to drop us a comment. What's up, Robert? He said, FOMO is a flag. What's that ratio again? So, yeah, happy flippers. Exactly. All the house flippers are just making a ton because they're running numbers based on current values, and by the time they're done with the property, it's worth more. But what we had alluded to was, this increase, this FOMO buyer, it's talking about a strong fourth quarter. And also, the fact that a lot of people do want that, luxury resort style backyard. Like I said, the half-acre lot with the pool and the grass and the other half. I mean, that's really what a lot of people are looking for. But here's the thing. We talked about people being stuck at home. What has legs for this thing about it, the reason why it's not, I don't think it's a red flag, Robert, and I'll bet you a burrito on it, is because people are going to choose to stay working at home. At first, it was a burden. They didn't want to do it. It was annoying. It's very difficult to get things done. You couldn't have a phone call. You felt nervous, extra stress. I even felt that this morning myself. My son likes to climb on my desk, literally climb up onto my desk. I don't know how he does it. He does it while I'm looking at the computer. He fell and hurt himself. I was in the middle of trying to lock a loan. It was crazy. So I feel this, right? I feel this. I understand this. But a lot of people are still going to prefer it because they don't want to commute. They don't want to live a third of their life in an office somewhere. Mm-hmm. They're going to have the choice. Their employer's going to say, it's okay if you want to work from home. And they're going to go, wait a minute. So I don't have to have the commute right now that I'm making, which means I don't have to have a commute at all. I could live anywhere.
Yes.
I could live anywhere. I could live in Riverside County. Or you know what? If I live in Texas right now, I may choose to move and live in San Diego because I like San Diego better.
Well, yes.
And that is also, that we're just starting to see the tip of the iceberg of people coming from other areas who are now working from home permanently that want to live here instead of where their job is.
Yes. So one of my listings right now in Carmel Valley, we're in escrow right now. It was amazing about how many buyers were coming from the Bay Area. And because all these executives, if you will, in the Bay Area, Silicon Valley specifically, mm-hmm. These executives can work from anywhere. Why not work from, this paradise type backyard if you can? I mean,
heck yeah.
Heck yeah. And, oh, by the way, this is a drop in the bucket for Bay Area
Oh,
folks.
yeah, well, this is on sale. This is
oh
half
my gosh,
price.
It's on sale.
It's half price. It's 60% off. When they look at the prices here and they're like, I can't believe this is all it is. There's better weather here. There's actual beaches, so you can get in the water.
Yes.
You have all these things versus where they're coming from up in Northern California.
Yep.
And the prices are way less. For them, they don't get it. They're like, this is crazy. And that's what I've been saying forever. San Francisco and LA and New York and Vancouver, these are all proof to us. This should be a clear truth serum. The lie detector test is going off. And it's proof that San Diego is an undervalued market. And we're just going to see it go up for the next 10 years.
Indeed, 100%. And those people, maybe sellers that maybe are expired, maybe from last year, expired listings, people that wanted to sell that now and are curious, like, is now a time? Yes, it is.
If you couldn't get your number a year ago, you probably can now.
You can get it now. Yes,
that's right.
For these reasons.
You nailed it, man.
Yes.
Crushing. Let's see here. Okay, it's easier for me to read on this one here. Mike Shane, what's up, Mike? He said bet terms. Okay, Robert. The betting terms. I'll let you determine the terms. You know what we're betting on. Mike says, how do you guys see next year buyer demand in regards to eviction moratorium ends in San Diego? Unemployment rates.
Great question.
Contribute to the evictions, decrease buyer demand. So here's the thing to keep in mind when you look at that stuff, and I'll answer this, Lorraine. If you want to chime in, please feel free. I've been reading up on this quite a bit. So what is important to understand about evictions and things of this nature is that there's only and this is unfortunate, but this is when people talk about affordability, this is a reality. There's only a small portion of people who can afford to buy a house. So about 33% or so of the people can afford to buy it. Now you'll look at the numbers and say, but over 50% of people own their own homes in San Diego. Yeah, a lot of those people have owned their home for a very long time. And they continue to own that home because they wouldn't be able to buy another one without the equity from that one. So about 33% of renters or so, roughly, that range, are able to buy. A lot of times, so whenever we see, hey, 10 or 15 or 20 or even we saw 30% unemployment numbers, a lot of that was not really hurting buyer demand, although it did kill some deals. There were some deals that died as a result
Yep.
of that. Some people lost their jobs, but it was a very small amount. Because a lot of times what you see, and this is the thing that's really unfortunate, when we look at those unemployment numbers, or when we look at those evictions, it's happening to the lowest income individuals, not the people who have, because if you're buying a house, okay, you typically have money saved, you have money, in savings, you're not going to get evicted, you're going to be able to pay the rent for however long it takes you to get another job for the most part. It's the people who are really paycheck to paycheck that are going to and can't get another job because maybe their job doesn't exist anymore. Maybe they were a waitress or something like that, and those jobs don't exist anymore because we're in a pandemic or whatever. It's not really a house buyer issue. What it really is an issue for landlords. It's an issue for property investors who have units and they have those renters. It becomes an issue for them, and that's why investment property financing right now is complicated and rates are higher, because there's a lot of margin priced in that there's going to be some foreclosures on some of those, which, by the way, doesn't have to happen. If you're in a bad situation with a property, for whatever reason, you lost your job or whatever, you can sell that thing and make money right now. Like, I don't care when you bought it. You can sell it and make money. So there really shouldn't be a need for foreclosures. And that's the real big, thing that we look out for is foreclosures. When foreclosures are happening, that means that the person couldn't sell it on the market and make a profit, usually. Because if you couldn't make your mortgage payment, but you knew you could sell your house and make $100,000, what are you going to do? Are you going to sit there and let late fees
Right.
build up with your lender and all the stuff you have to pay back? Nah, you're going to sell it, take the $100,000, go. Yeah, we're going to rent it for a little while. We're going to figure this out.
Right.
So that's the difference. We're looking for foreclosures, and what we don't see is a lot of foreclosures taking place. There have been some, there have been a few short sales, but there always has been.
Right.
There's always been some, as long as it's not really getting above that 1% of the market number, which is not anywhere near that right now. As long as that's not happening, then it's not really on the radar yet as, hey, this is something that's going to affect values. What is happening though is people are coming out of the woodworks. People who have been saving money, people who have inherited money, people who have cash. A lot of these deals are happening cash. We talk about these bidding wars. A lot of my buyers, my VA buyers, are losing to people who are doing all cash, no appraisal contingencies.
That's right.
Those people are coming out of everywhere.
Yeah, and good for them that,
They're
they set
getting off-
themselves. Yeah, that
They're getting out of the blocks.
Yeah, that's terrific. I mean, I think that you're spot on. We're not really anticipating, I know myself's not really anticipating a huge influx of, foreclosures. Do I think that there's going to be opportunity next year because of the moratorium? Absolutely. A ton, no. I don't think that anybody that's thinking about buying should be on my advice to them, should stay on the sideline and wait. No, please don't.
Yeah.
I mean,
It could cost you. I mean,
yeah,
it's been costing
could,
people.
Yes, exactly. It's just a really good time, unfortunately, to buy and sell right now.
Yeah.
And it really is. And if, like you're in summary, if you are looking to buy, batters up, swing for the fences. Go for
You
it.
kind of have to go for it.
Yeah, get the one you want. If you can, by all means. And you also brought up something. Unfortunately, I'm super. We're super sensitive to those that have been directly affected by the pandemic. I mean, it's been an emotional year. I do have clients that unfortunately had to cancel selling and buying right when it happened because they were in the hospitality industry.
Yep. Same.
Yeah, and in hospitality, retail, there's been a lot, the server industry, but good news is that we're a thriving city. I mean, we're made and comprised of all of these military. We're fortunate in that regard. Our economy is so strong, and that's just a blessing. So the whole housing reaction, how our market is doing here and thriving, right, is a total blessing for San Diego County, I can speak of, yeah.
I think so, absolutely. Let's see here. What does Robert say? More multi are available now than in the last year in areas I see. Yeah, there's been more multi-units hitting the market. I think a lot of those investors were looking at the opportunity to maybe 1031 and move up. Because when you buy a multi-unit, most investors are not saying, hey, I'm going to buy this multi-unit and have it for 30 years. They may say that, but really what they're hoping is that they'll be able to, take it up and go from 3 units to 5 units or 3 units to 10 units or whatever. So when you see, quick appreciation like this and guys who aren't going to have any tax implications, 1031 that profit into another property, you're starting to see a lot of that happen. And what's happening, Robert, is they're going out of state. So they're selling their multi-unit here in California, and then they're buying 20 doors in Oklahoma or whatever. You're seeing a lot of that take place. And that happens in these markets, and a lot of times that's what those guys are in it for. They're like, you know what, if I just went and bought the 20 unit in Oklahoma, it'd still be worth what it was when I bought it. The reason I bought in San Diego is because I knew I had the chance to get some major appreciation. I got it, and now I'm going to put it to work.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Appreciating. We live in an appreciating city like no other. I do know I have a pocket listing in Mission Hills. It's a multi-unit.
Really?
Yes, it's 1.3. It's 1.3. It's a fourplex.
What?
Yeah, it's a fourplex, and I mean, we have a recent appraisal, so that's why I know it's 1.3. I mean, confidently. So.
Any reason it wouldn't go VA?
No, we should chat. Yeah.
I have lots of people who are being.
What?
Oh yeah, big time. Big time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, and this is tenant occupied.
All 4 units?
All 4 units.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
But
we can get to the details, but I mean, for a 1.3, a 4 unit for 1.3 in that area,
in Mission Hills.
smoking deal.
Yeah.
Smoking deal. You also have the Poway property coming up for under $1 million, 5-bed, 4-bath.
Yeah,
You got some good stuff
929.
going on, girl. Good
Okay,
job. Well,
yeah.
Make it rain, Lorraine. She's making it rain. Oh boy. So this is, hopefully that provides a little insight. Oh, thank you, Christy. I appreciate it. You know, I picked this tie out very carefully. I picked these outfits out, you know, very, very carefully the night before. And
I like it.
my daughter used to help me do it when she was little, but now she doesn't care about Dad that much anymore. You know, she's 13. She's too cool for me.
Too cool for school.
Too cool for school right now. That's fine. So I think, you know, hopefully that helps bring some light to like what's going on. I know a lot of people are confused by this. It doesn't seem to make sense. People think there's some sort of falsity to this or some sort of, you know, scheme or something. This is just the market. The cool thing about real estate is that it is the ultimate free market where you get to see supply and demand interact in real time, and it's very, very serious. Listen, emotions run very high in this business, right? People become very emotional. People become very attached. There's a lot of things. It's serious. And, you know, so trust me, there's no way you could scheme this market. This is real. This is the market saying we want real estate and we want it now. And they're saying it in droves. And if you just do a scan on like Redfin for hot homes, just do a 3-bed, 2-bath detached search, you'll see almost every single one is a hot home, which means that there's going to be multiple offers on every single one of those homes. So, you know, getting yourself prepared mentally to enter this market is really important. Getting yourself pre-approved is important. Getting yourself, you know, ready to go, okay, we're going to look at homes. What inevitably will happen is you'll find one that you really like.
Yeah.
And hopefully you're ready to take advantage, because a lot of times, maybe you've experienced this as well, the first one you see that you really love
is usually the one.
It's the one.
That's the one you should have
It's
went
the one
for.
you're going to always think about and go, oh,
Right.
gosh, why didn't we just offer $5,000 more?
Like the crush that got away.
Oh, you know, and you beat yourself up over it. So be ready, you know, when you enter for that to be the case. It just seems to happen for some reason. And, you know, at the end of the day, I want to make sure that you have good people that, you know, you can work with, good people that you can talk to with regard to this. Make It Rain. Lorraine Tapia is in here from Century 21. I'm going to give you her number here, and we'll post it as well with this post, 619-806-3135. And, of course, you can contact me anytime. Derrick Evans, NMLS 155010. My number is 619-952-2046. We're here to answer your questions. We want to help you. If you have questions about this market, I know it may seem complicated. It kind of is, but it also is just pretty straightforward. It's people who want to buy homes, and who wouldn't want to buy a home and live in America's finest city. Lorraine, thank you so much for coming in today. It's great to have you.
Thank you,
really
Derrick.
appreciate your time. Hey, share this
Thank
video with your
you.
friends. Let's help make them smarter than everyone else. We'll see y'all soon.